Ruthless, second to last episode of The Flash, and one of our favorite heroes, or not heroes, former hero, is gone, but no one ever dies in comic books, so we're gonna talk it out on Flash Chat. I'm here today with some awesome guests. We've got Matt Starnes and Joey Starnes, newlyweds, and we've got Joey Navarra Jr., so there's two Joeys and two Starnes. That's easy enough. I can just
Earth
say
Wanderers
one.
2, maybe? I don't know.
Yes, there you go.
No, wait a second. I do not look like that on Earth 2.
Earth 7.5. Earth Pi. Yeah.
Earth 5, yes. So I figured that out. And so tell us about, you guys do a whole lot of stuff in the community, a lot of Guardians of the Geekery, Geek Gala. Tell us about what you've got going on.
Sure. Well, I run the Charlotte Geeks. We have 2,700 members here on Meetup. We've got 1,700 on Facebook. They're all awesome. We get together 3 or 4 times a month. Our big charity event every year is the Geek Gala. That's in October. And then weekly, Starnes Lord and I do Guardians of the Geekery with our 2 co-hosts, Carol the Cat and Tiffles the Technician. So
Awesome. That's
free on iTunes, and it tells you a little bit about what's going on in the area, as well as meeting some cool people, kind of like you do here.
Yeah.
So it's, but we're audio. You don't have to look at us. So you can just listen to
We
us.
spare you that.
I need to do audio. There's a lot of days where I'm like, I don't want to put on makeup.
Yeah.
I need to do an audio. Yeah, it's so cool. I've listened to your podcast before, and they cover a lot of different topics. And then the Geek Gala. When can we start getting tickets for that?
Oh, you can get tickets now at geekgala.com. And our theme this year is Lost in Galactic Spaceballs.
Yes.
So
I love that graphic.
You know, Lost in Space, Battlestar Galactica. You know,
All of it
all
combined.
the good things.
Yes.
And it's this year it's a little different. We're the 21st through the 23rd. We have 42 hours of fun because that's what geeks do,
Wow,
right? It's
yeah.
42 is the answer to everything. But we do a gala. We're going to do a citywide gala quest, so you have to check that out. And then the fun is Saturday night, and we raise money for a good cause, Children's Home Society, which is part of Dave Thomas Foundation through Wendy's, and we raise money for foster and adoptive kids. So.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely have to check out the Geek Gala. And Matt, you were working on comic books, you said.
Yeah, my last series that I write, I'll have it at Heroes Con, is Leather Jacket Guy.
Leather Jacket Guy.
And it kind of makes fun of superheroes in a light way, and it's an all ages type of fun
Oh,
adventure.
there's
So
some time travel in there, just like the Flash.
Oh,
He jumps through portals.
I want to. I hear there's some comic books coming out that you can like choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
I want to check out those. I
Very
love
cool.
time travel stuff like that. And this is Joey Navarra Jr. And he is an artist, and he actually is working on your own self-published comic. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's Pursued by a Bear. It's about a panda samurai. Think of like Samurai Jack meets Furiosa.
A panda samurai. That's awesome. That's the cover of it. And you said we can find that at Heroes too.
Yeah, I'll have them available there.
Very cool. And where else can we find your work? It says cargocollective.com, Joey Navarra Jr. What else have you been working on?
That's my website. I'm a freelance artist, so I'll work on anything from fine arts to comics and illustration stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah, all my websites or like Twitter, Tumblr, stuff like that will be Joey Navarra Jr.
Check it out. She's got some cool, look at that. I like this. Our coworker, Richard Groves, is going to really be jealous of this. Back to the Future. He's like the biggest fan of Back to the Future. It's very cool. So make sure to look for their work at Heroes Con coming up June, I think it's 16, 17, 18th this year.
17, is it 17, 18, 19?
Around there. It's
Around
the
that
weekend.
area,
and
yeah.
that
Father's
time,
Day.
Father's Day.
Yeah.
Go to it and check it out. And I want to give a special shout out to the biggest Flash discussion group on Facebook. This group has 11,000 members, and it's really cool. It's run by a guy named Lance, and they really curate some really interesting stuff on this site. They have so many different points and pictures that are made that I totally miss during the show, and I think it's because there's 11,000 people contributing. So things you might miss, like I just saw, they said Wally West's car. If you notice, it looks like him, and I think it's like the new 52. It looks like his suit. It's silver with like some red on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally didn't pick that up, and that was cool. So check out that Facebook group. It's always full of fun, interesting facts. And let's get right into it. Spoilers, if you haven't watched, turn away. I don't know what you're doing. We had a big death this episode. Got one episode left, and we are going to be without Papa Allen. So, and this episode is called Invincible. Or will we? That's a great, you know what? Because no one ever dies in comic books. No. We do see a grave scene in the trailer, but this episode's called Invincible. And Barry started the episode off feeling invincible from all the time in the Speed Force with his mom, and kind of getting over that, only to lose what he had left, his father who just came back. How do you think this is going to impact just Barry from now on. He just got over his mom. Now his dad's gone.
I think it's a pretty standard formula for the CW shows that he has to like get knocked down a peg and then overcome that to succeed in the end.
Yeah. Do you think it? I mean, I don't think it's going to be resolved by next. His feelings.
No, but I think everyone else being in trouble will supersede his depression.
He'll put them first. The whole West Allen situation, we just got to it, and we all. I mean, I predicted this. I like West Allen. Don't get me wrong, but I predicted that just because they think they're getting together. Now, what do you guys think is going to happen with this new whole dramatic death in their relationship?
Yeah, I think the death will affect it, but also it's never a good idea just because somebody says you should be together to be together.
Exactly.
I'm an old man, but in my past, when I was a youngster, around Barry's age, I dated somebody I thought, my friends were like, oh, you should date perfect. And it was not perfect. So
this is the perfect girl.
Exactly. That's why I married her.
And she brought her bouquet, which is awesome. They just got married, and this is made of the comics that he does. I think that's so cool.
The copy of the comics.
Copy of the comics. We
do
did
not get comic book people hating me.
Don't
these
hate.
are copies of the comic books.
Carefully reconstructed.
It's so cool. You guys got, I'm gonna Instagram a picture of this because it's like the detail on it is amazing. Oh, look at that. Nice zoom in. Way to go, crew. You guys are on point.
Absolutely.
So we see that all his confidence that he just gained is now gonna be thrown for the rest of these episodes. And do you think it impacts who you think is the man in the mask that Hunter Zolomon has been keeping?
Well, I think there was some conversation about whether or not that could be, Papa Allen again.
Yep.
And I think that could be, but I don't think the physique of the guy matches.
You don't? Okay.
So now it could be that they switched it.
Could be a stunt double.
It could be a stunt double.
Yeah.
It could be that they decided they weren't sure who that guy was going to be. Because,
They could write it later on.
Yeah.
Right.
You never know with the show.
Did we never saw Papa Allen in Earth 2.
We did not.
So.
Yeah, so, okay, let's go down the line. Theory, who are you saying you thought it was?
I want to see Eddie.
Eddie?
Eddie Thawne again.
Okay.
We saw him in the past in one episode, and we haven't seen him in Earth 2 yet, I don't believe.
I don't think so.
So I'm thinking I think it's him.
And I think he had blonde hair. You could see the blonde hair under the mask, so it's a possibility. And you thought it was?
It could be Papa Allen. Eddie seems like a more likely. I originally thought it was another Jay Garrick from another Earth.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of holding with that too.
Okay.
I think it's Papa Allen, but I will say in the comic books there was this big event, and there was a man in a mask, and it was actually Wally, a version of Wally.
Interesting.
So it could.
See, I thought it was going to be Wally back before, but I don't know if maybe CW's throwing us with whoever is in the suit as a stunt actor, because it seems to look like a blonde white actor, but maybe it isn't. It's hard to tell, so we'll see. I still kind of think I think it might be Henry Allen, but here's what I think. I think it's Henry Allen's face, but he's Jay Garrick in Earth 2 because of the whole.
That'd be perfect.
With him saying.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And they need to redeem Jay because that's such a classic character.
They do, and they could bring him all into season 3. And also because they're going to keep John Wesley Shipp in the show because he's such an awesome actor. And also, we haven't seen who the real Jay Garrick is, and it was Henry Allen's mother's maiden name. So theory is maybe like on Earth 2, the dad left and he kept his mom's maiden name, and maybe it's like J. Henry Allen or something, or J. Henry Garrick or something.
Yeah.
Well, and they just started the love interest with him and Dr. McGee.
I know.
I'm like, how could you do that?
And that was such a cool flashback. If you watch the show in the 90s, I mean, that was a little
total nod.
The love interest. Look at the two of them.
It's like, how could you do that
Precious.
and then like vibrate his heart to death?
No, and that scene was too happy with the whole Lumineers song, like.
The whole family coming to dinner.
I was like, something awful is gonna happen.
You know it's gonna go
Yeah,
bad.
the cute. Anytime they're having like dinner at the West House is like something's about to go down.
Dude,
I
order pizza.
I know, we're eating out from now on. It's too crazy. Black Siren was in this episode. We got to see Katie Cassidy as another example of people in these shows never actually go away. And I loved her. What did you guys think of her as Black Siren? Man, she should have been a villain this whole time.
I thought she was super sexy and hot. Not as hot as you, but yeah, I really did, and I thought she was actually better as a villain. So
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was cool to see her have like natural powers, not use the machine that they have in Arrow.
And something about it was so much better. And maybe it was the way that I don't know, just the whole demeanor of this character. Maybe she was having more fun with it because she knew she was off Arrow. I don't.
Yeah.
Black lipstick.
It's the black lipstick. It's the black lipstick.
It's like I would like to know what my Earth 2, what color? Am I going to wear blue or black?
Purple.
But I definitely need to accessorize more with the black lipstick. That makes you evil.
And she's very bad. I wonder how much of an impact she had on actually the design of this, because Katie Cassidy herself is very into makeup and fashion. I got to interview her at Dragon Con, and she was like very into the details. She actually was really involved in the creation of the Black Canary costume. So do you guys think we'll see Black Siren? No, she didn't die, so do you think we'll see her again either next season or this next episode?
Probably.
We have to,
it's
because
easy to show her again.
The references to the birds too. Come on, that's just too clearly has to do some crossover with Black Canary and Siren and the whole thing. I mean, the whole Alfred Hitchcock of hitting the thing and cracking. Did you see they hit the glass and cracked it? And at the end, when she was in the chamber, she kept screaming at the glass.
Yes.
So.
And I was wondering, like, the whole time I thought that imagery had something to do with the Canary character or the Siren character. But then I was also wondering, when they show that the Earth splits open, if maybe that was just because of the sky, and like Cisco hadn't looked up yet. Here's a good this clip. This is, you see the birds here falling down, and we're gonna see the Earth 2 is opening upon itself. We're gonna get to this. Cisco and Caitlin had a pretty fun role in this episode. They actually got to cosplay as their Earth 2 selves, which was cool. So what did you think about when Cisco vibed a physical way? Did you guys catch that?
Yeah, I was thrilled. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what are your thoughts on what was that? Look at this trio. Yeah. They're so man.
That is bad. Yeah.
The whole time I was thinking, would they have Barry go run and get those costumes really quick?
I know.
They had those on hand.
Yeah,
you just have a white wig.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the blue
Just in case.
Yeah. I thought it was hysterical, and I like how they didn't right away show it. They just said like, "Oh, I've got a really horrible idea."
Yeah.
And then they were convincing until the catch. But look, we see here he's actually, I guess that's like reverbing her off, the Black Siren off him. And from the comic books, is that a power that Vibe has? Is a physical manifestation of it?
He does it. Joey, I don't know if you remember him from, I guess, the 80s, and he always had a boombox, it seemed like, back in the day, that he would channel the sound and amplify it. So it was all with vibes and stuff.
Wow, that's so cool. So I didn't know that we could expect that from him, and it was neat to see. Any more predictions?
But it was definitely during a high panic situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when he tried to do it again, when he realized that he could, he didn't get it done.
Yeah.
So, there was definitely that, oh my gosh, I got to make this stop. And it worked. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to do it again. And
again, maybe.
So, yeah, definitely I felt like that was interesting. I also was like, not to go back to the birds, but I'm going to go back to the birds.
Yeah, go back to it.
I kept watching. I watched it a second time, and I was like, okay, this time he's around Barry and and Miss Snow, and then the next time he was in the hallway by himself.
Yeah.
And I was like,
what's triggering it?
I couldn't figure out what was triggering it. So that was interesting too. But definitely the fact that he's vibing without forcing it to happen was very interesting.
I think he needs to get kind of a handle on those powers, because maybe because that's such a big event is why it's just coming through to him. But it seems like he needs to learn how to channel when he can vibe. He's getting better at that, but I think that's probably something we'll see in season 3.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll start to learn how to use his powers and go into the field occasionally.
Yeah.
Do you guys know, do you know what his costume used to look like in the comics? Always super lame.
It was incredibly lame.
Very colorful, and I kind of hope they keep him in just jeans and a t-shirt.
What was his costume like?
It was almost like a kung fu type of, with
very
a V thing, right?
Yeah, very big V vest. It was.
But did
it
you
was
notice
good.
he had like a kung fu guy on his t-shirt this week?
He did.
Yeah.
Maybe that is a nod to it.
It's a nod.
I like what Cisco wears. I think his wardrobe is cool.
I just wish he'd brush his hair more.
Yeah.
That's me.
He ain't got time for that. Cisco ain't got time for that. I'm curious to see. I was kind of worried that because of Caitlin's kind of post-traumatic stress from being kidnapped by Jay, that she was gonna have, because when she kept visualizing Zoom I was worried if that might be the darkness in her coming through. And they keep putting this girl in blue, and I'm on like blue watch. I think that we're not done with the Killer Frost aspect of even Caitlin of Earth One.
Well, she had mentioned in Dragon Con she really likes playing Killer Frost.
Yeah.
She really wants more opportunities for that.
And she may have it. And it would be neat to see if some kind of powers did come through with her on Earth One, if it was not exactly the same, not so maybe campy, maybe just like every now and then a glimpse of, because of what she's been through with Jay. Did you think that she resolved her PTSD too quickly?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's still there because you could easily say that she's gotten over Ronnie's death a little too. Like just every time she gets close to someone, the show's like, oh, let's kill that character or make them bad.
I know, and I still think Ronnie Raymond could come back. I used to think, well, Carla from Heroes actually said she thinks he's the guy in the mask, which would be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Could be. We didn't see him in Earth 2.
No, we did.
Oh, we do. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So yeah, he was
the
a
Earth
Death
1
Storm.
guy.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I like that character. I hope they bring him back. And some of the characters they showed in Zoom's Metahuman Army, there was one that looked like a zombie firestorm if you zoom in on the picture, and it was pretty cool. Wally West in this episode is he's trying to be a vigilante. Do you guys watch Arrow?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He's like Arsenal. Remember Arsenal?
Yes.
Season 2 or whatever. It's reminding me of that. Do you think that this is kind of like a red herring that the producers are trying to throw us off of him actually having powers? Like maybe they'll kind of manifest down the road?
I think he'll definitely get the powers.
Yeah,
it
for
really
sure.
is a question of when, I think. But he didn't have that coma at all. He woke up pretty quick.
Right.
So I think his powers might come after Jesse's.
Yeah.
So that's...
And I feel like he kind of keeps, from the comics, I do know that it was because he was tagging along with Barry that he got his powers in an accident. But because he's so into helping Barry, I'm like, it's almost like, oh, they're setting him up to get in another accident to maybe get powers.
Yeah. They have to.
Yeah, and he found out that Barry is the Flash this episode. So.
He did. There's this great moment right here. That's the look of realizing your friend's the Flash.
Like, what?
That time when you figure it out. But come on. I mean, I know it's not easy. In the comic books, you have to stretch your imagination, but when he was talking to him in one of the scenes, he was barely vibrating his voice. I was like, this is obviously your friend Barry. Come on, pick it up.
Just how many dozens of people know his identity now at this point? It's sort of, they're not even trying.
Yeah, and at some point, maybe, does it have to be a secret,
I don't know.
Well, just put a target on your back if everybody knows. But come on,
but I feel like
running
that's already happening with all of his family.
The helmet off that when he went to go see the Zoom, he didn't even bother. It's like, what if Zoom had somebody else there? You're going through the police station. I know you're going really fast, but come on, dude. Pull the hat up. It's there for a reason.
And I forget that he's supposed to just be the CSI guy. There was that whole scene this episode where they're like, where's Barry? Oh, I'm right here. Like a Clark Kent kind of moment. So, I forget that he actually has a job. And you'd have to think the police chief would be like, someone's up with you too. And then your little duo, how does Joe West have this Flash buddy that happens to be the same size and shape as Barry Allen? I don't know.
Stunt double.
Stunt double. It's a stunt double.
I would get exhausted if I was Barry. I would just be like, listen, it's me. Let's just get on with it. And in the comics, people knew who he was eventually, and he had a museum erected in his honor and stuff.
There's the museum, so eventually people will know, or at least everyone likes the Flash. Do you think that Jesse Quick is definitely going to get powers? Because she kept testing herself this episode to see if she had the powers. The one catch was when the vibration thing was going on to try to kill all the metahumans.
Yeah.
It was, for some reason, it was hurting her more. Did you guys read into that at all?
Yeah, that was either her equipment was malfunctioning and her dad has to sacrifice himself scene, or just there's something more to her and we'll see that later.
Yeah.
Well, and that could be the trigger too.
Could be.
The vibrations.
That could be. That's a good, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. I was wondering if maybe she was more sensitive to it because of possibly having the powers.
Right.
Maybe it kind of changed up her DNA at all. And they never revealed the results of this test. He just said, you're smart, let's stop worrying about it.
Yeah.
So,
well, and Caitlin is like, I'm not supposed to be talking about
I'll
this.
keep the Speed Force information over here.
Right.
But Caitlin could know.
Yeah.
She could know what's up. Do you guys have any predictions for who might be a villain in season 3?
I really wish we could have frozen that. Well, we can, but the shot in the CCPD where they're like looking down.
All the metahumans.
And all the metahumans.
I did last week. Yeah, I could put it up on my Twitter.
Because there was the one guy that was kind of like Firestorm, but he was green.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is that supposed to be? Because he hit the doctor and stuff like that. But I would like to see if maybe Siren or somebody gets pulled back.
Yeah.
And that becomes it, because they already mentioned to her that she could be stronger than Zoom. Zoom was afraid she wasn't.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think she could hold her own though? As the look at that! Way to go, Andy, director. Zoom, all the graphics covering the green guy, but it's there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Those
but
are
there was a girl in the screenshot far to the right with pink hair, and she was flashed in separate. And then the green guy was over to the left, and obviously for CGI reasons, he was kind of separate.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting because they were not part of the
main
crowd.
group.
Yeah.
And I was like, who are they?
There's somebody in that crowd.
Yeah.
There's somebody.
I'm sure they did that on purpose. I mean, the glowing staff could have been Starman.
Yeah.
The
People love
green.
My favorite.
Yeah, the green flame guy could have been, I think it's Atomic Skull, something like super lame like that. It's like a villain it was like a green Ghost Rider from the Justice League cartoon, but he's in the comics.
I'd like to
That'd
see.
be fun.
Yeah.
Do you guys know about Godspeed? I think he's one of the Reverse Flashes. I saw a prediction that maybe that could be next year's villain.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a Black Flash. I don't know if it's like the death.
Yeah, like the Time Wraith.
Yeah.
I was Mike, I'm curious. What do you guys think? Who do you think was the better villain? Because we're winding up the season, and probably will be the end of Zoom. Do you think Zoom or Reverse Flash? Who do you guys think was a little bit better?
I liked Reverse Flash better.
I did too.
Yeah.
It was more personal or something.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole darkness of. I know that's a point of that character of Zoom, but
Yeah.
I don't like that whole darkness. And then his little. Why would he have gloves
God,
with
his
the little
fingers.
fingernails?
Oh,
Because his
yeah.
fingernails are
Today's
not like
episode, he
that.
points.
When he's pointing at the board, it's like, you're so lame.
With the mask, it looks fine, but when he has the mask off and it's Jay Garrick's
just his
face,
It looks like,
he
what are
has
you doing?
He has the very clear costume
cut your
pointy fingers.
fingers.
It
Yeah.
reminds me of a kid. Do you guys ever eat bugles? I used to put on my fingers and it's like, oh, we've got bugles.
I will say though that like that villain speech was awesome. That's him having that actor having fun with the character.
Yeah,
like
he's great. Teddy
Yeah.
Sears is great as a
Oh
villain.
no,
Yeah.
he's great.
Yeah.
The fingers bothered me.
The fingers are no Flash costume department.
No.
There's something about just Hunter Zolomon's character and being sociopathically hateful, and not for like any real specific reason. Not exactly. He wanted the speed, but now he like has to end everything. So I don't like that as much. I liked the idea, although Eobard Thawne didn't have like an awesome reason.
He was
either.
just like jealous of
Yeah.
Flash and wanted to be Flash, and when he couldn't, he's like, I'll just be the opposite of Flash, and that's not the best motivation
No, it's
either
like-
to be a villain.
I guess it was just maybe the idea that he killed his mom.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
definitely a motivating factor for Barry.
For Barry. But I just haven't liked Zoom as much. I liked him, but not.
Well, it's
Not as much.
It's a little bit more of the same, where like with Reverse Flash, it's just another father figure
Yeah.
like betraying him or letting him down, and Barry's like always trying to find another father
I know,
figure.
and now like literally,
Yeah.
at least he has Joe West still.
Yeah, which
Don't
is
say it too loud.
I know. Oh,
Well, we had to watch Earth 2 Joe West die, so I don't think
They won't do that.
They won't.
I don't
do
think so.
that,
He's
no.
one of the
Please
best
don't.
supporting characters.
And I think he's not expendable. So we see for next week, obviously the sky is essentially falling. It looks like Earth 2 is splitting open. What do you guys think Zoom's master plan is for this whole, he's obviously not done. He's working on something else.
I think he's found certain. Like, he was talking about the buildings. There's certain buildings he's targeting on this Earth that have a vibrational counterpart on the other Earth.
Interesting.
And that's vibrating the Earth 2 apart, is what I think.
Yeah, like once he did Mercury Labs, supposedly they didn't need any other ones, but
Yeah.
they did it to throw people off so they wouldn't figure out what the plan was.
And there's
right?
something in Mercury Labs that I think will maybe be integral to this too.
How
So-
did it collapse and all those chemicals not cause this much bigger explosion?
Because they ran out of the CGI
Budget?
fund.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
They had really cool. It's like they saved like a lot of their energies for that one scene where Barry is rescuing Teen Wiggy.
When he's like jumping from debris
Yeah.
to debris, that was cool. So when they activated the machine to stop all the Earth 2 villains and Zoom opened up a portal, was that already a portal
don't
in this
know.
police station, or can he just open them up
I
wherever
don't
he
think
wants?
he can.
Yeah.
I think he
Because
can.
if he's opening too many or opens one that won't that won't close. That could be could be what the finale's about.
Okay. Yeah, he's doing something shady because that wasn't one of the locations. I think we would have remembered if they said inside CPD.
Right.
Let's take a look at the trailer for the finale of the season 2 of The Flash.
I promise you, I'm gonna take from him what he took from you.
You want to kill this guy?
I want him to suffer for everything that he's done.
A race, Barry, between you and me, to see who's the fastest man alive.
You want revenge? If that's why you're doing this, you will lose. Run. The Flash, season finale Tuesday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
That was a creepy Run, Barry, Run.
Yeah.
I liked that one. That big circle thing. Do you think it's something they're gonna have to run up in it to like
Like a habit trail?
Yeah, you know, like a gerbil. Yeah. Like I'm thinking if it's maybe that will have something to do with the Earth opening or closing or something, some kind of centrifugal force. Because what is that circle thing?
Right. And then are they gonna leave this as a cliffhanger like they did last season?
Right.
I mean, they resolved the mother thing, but then he had to go into the rift, and then it was just over. So.
Right. Yeah. And are they going to end it again with Jay Garrick again? Like where's Jay Garrick? He was in the mask.
Well,
you know.
And there's some interesting parallels between the storyline of The Flash and the storyline of Arrow.
Yeah.
Because we had the crossover, spoiler alert, crossover with the death scene and the burial on Arrow.
We didn't think we were going to have one with the Flash.
And Alan came over and, gave his,
and then,
regrets.
And then Oliver was like, can you leave me alone?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, yeah, I'll just run.
Yeah.
But then, there was the burial there. And in Arrow, he had to find the good in him in order to defeat that character, Damien Dark. And now, Wells is telling Barry the same thing. If you're doing this for vengeance, revenge is not going to be the solution. You will lose.
Yes.
So he has to find his lightness as well.
Can't find evil with
parallel
evil.
lines right there.
I know. It's like the showrunners are trading notes. Oh, just kidding. It's the same showrunner. But I mean, I'm looking forward. I have to catch up one from Arrow. I'm looking forward to see what that finale is going to be. And then, next season, we're adding Supergirl. It's going to be big. But next week is the finale of The Flash of season 2. We're going to watch it live at Heroes Aren't Hard to Find comic book store. Join us. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to have Heart Soda Shop out there and Frank the Tank. It's JJ Red Hot's hot dog. So come hungry, bring you some cash, buy you some food. And actually, Heart Soda Shop is going to give away a Funko Pop. If you buy something, you'll be entered into the drawing to win a Funko Pop. So join us. It'll be 6 to 9:30. We're doing a live Flash chat following, so you can catch it. Probably wccbcharlotte.com/live streaming. And join us for that. And then a couple other fun events coming up. We've got Con Carolinas coming up at the beginning of June. It's June 3rd through 5th at Embassy Suites in Concord. And the street team will be there on that Friday with some swag.
And we'll be there.
And they will be there.
Podcasting live.
So check out the Guardians of the Geekery live. Or download it on iTunes if you can't go.
Yes.
And then the next day is Dudapalooza. Wilson's holding another Dudapalooza. That'll be at the C3 Lab. So if you need some gifts for Father's Day, go on out and buy some cool things. Good timing on that. We're wrapping up, and then we're gonna have Heroes Con coming up. The seasons are ending. It's sad.
Relax a little.
I know. It's the last Flash chat in the studio this season. So make sure you either join us live at Heroes next week or watch on wccbcharlotte.com. And that is all for this week. One more to go. Thanks everyone for being here. Check out all their work, and we'll see you next week. Bye.